Hey everyone, St. Krauss here coming at you with another video. A lot of times I've been asked about how to increase your hit and evasion. And one main ingredient of getting your stats pumped up to that level is to actually do Regalia Farm. There's simply no way about it. Now, to do your Regalia farming, you need a couple of things. One, you need your main character, of course, and then two, you need another character on a different account, in a different account, which will be your dummy. So, for example, here we've got a dummy of mine, Tyranny. I think Tyranny is a little bit overpowered for a floor 1 boss, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. So the idea here is you have to hit the boss once before the boss dies, but you need to get the loot affiliation stuck on Tyranny. So in this case, since Tyranny is a little bit overpowered, I'm not gonna do auto on him. I'm just gonna manually hit the normal attack button. That way I can have a good gauge of when to stop. So you would want to stop at X25 or 25% of the health, or it dies just like that. So tough luck. That is not how you do it. Let's go to a higher level boss on this map. All right, let's get to pick this up. That was a big mistake. So yeah, normally you would have a weaker boss, a weaker dummy, and need to clear this out. All right, perfect example of how not to do the farming. Let's just pick this up since it's a waste if we don't use it. All right, let's head over to the one of the harder bosses, the Dark Hunter, and I'm going to switch to Krauss here and head the same way. Now, one thing you want to make sure of, absolutely sure, before you do this is you want to go into your botting settings on your main character and make sure that none of these skills are selected. You also want to make 100% sure that your auto battle and auto quest are also disabled. This is to prevent accidents from happening while you're waiting for your boss to go down to 25. So you can see Tyranny is now whittling down the HP of the boss. Again, it's safe to go on auto for this, but just so that I can show you a little bit more detail, I'm just gonna turn that off, and you can basically do auto once you get the hang of it. But the magic number here is X25 or 25% of the boss's health. So here, see this X number. You don't want to hit it at 30 or 49% because there's a chance that your loot affiliation, which is what you can see on top of Tyranny's head right there, you might get the loot affiliation on your dummy. So now that we're at 25 and below, I'm going to switch to my main account, and then I'm going to turn on auto, and then I'm going to go back to Tyranny and get him out of the way. So get Tyranny out of the way. St. Krauss kills him. So notice that my fatigue now has jumped from 2 to 1. And I can move Tyranny to the next area so that they can, well, here, somewhere safe. You want the dummy to go as far away as possible, because once attack mode is enabled, there's a chance that Tyranny will, or your dummy will be able to pick up the loot, even if they're like so far away. It's happened quite a few times. It's annoying, really. But so now you can see my main character is picking up the loots, or the gear, the regalia, but at the same time, my boss fatigue is still at 3/3, meaning I still have 3 more tries on this account before I call it quits for the day on regalia hunting. So that's how you do it. We can do that one more time. I guess there's another boss around here somewhere. So let's go to Bahamut, which is going to be up here somewhere. So Tyranny's going to be following us here. And yeah, so that's one thing. You want to disable your auto battle or auto attack, auto quest. And you also want to move to peace mode, because there's a chance if you don't have that turned on, you might end up killing someone while you're looting the boss. So Tyranny's now brought the boss down to 60. Let's just go manual because it might go so fast. Alright, 31. Even at 30, I found that if you hit the boss with your main at 30, there's a very big chance that it will still move the loot affiliation to your main character. So hit the turn on auto attack or attack it with your main character, go back to your dummy and move out of the way. All right, it can't be any other order. You have to still be within the area when you kill the boss with your main. The dummy still has to be near. You can't move your dummy away and then kill the boss with your main, because if you're not within the area of influence, like for example Orochi here, the area of influence would be up to right here before you get the notification that what do you call this, boss battle, exit territory of boss. You will see that come up, and that means that even if you your main deals the more damage out of the two, loot affiliation will automatically switch to your main, and your main will end up using fatigue instead of your dummy. So that's the way you would do you would do this. And the reason why people do this is because of the regalias. That's why it's called Regalia Farming. So let's get out of the way. You know what? Let me just... Whoa! Okay, so now this guy doesn't have any more chances. We can continue to do this. So since you have a way to do this as long as you want, you can do this all day if you have dummies, as long as you have dummies, and as long as you're doing it right, you're not using up your fatigue by mistake, and all that. So if you have 20 dummies, you can do this 20 times a day, but that comes at a cost. Your relationship with your girlfriend, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with everybody else in your life, because instead of living your life normally, you're just doing regalia farming all day. But that's your call. I'm not judging. Let's see. So I have Eins here. Now let's go to a higher level, because it's really not, there's other ways that I want to show in this video. So I think I can go straight to Divine Ruins too. So since Dark Hunter is up, if your dummy is weak, right, like takes ages for them to whittle down the boss's HP. So once again, we want to go peace mode and then peace mode on both your dummies and main. For example, if it's taking too long for your dummy to kill a boss, you can do this in a different way. You can attack the boss at the beginning. So let's do that. So you can see that it's still at 100%. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a skill and then some normal attacks to bring it down. So somewhere all the way down to 50. Right, so that should be it. Then I'm going to move away. The reason why you're going to move away is because you want to get out of the loot table. So the loot table is right here. So see how my name disappeared from the loot table, or the damage ranking table. That means Eins now has control again of the loot affiliation, since I'm no longer part of that. So I can go back now safely and again hit the boss at the very last moment. So since we kind of chipped off quite a bit of the HP, instead of 25, I would be hitting the boss at around 15 bars, just to be sure, because this is all percentage based. So I'm not gonna start hitting at 25. So I'm back on St. Krauss. Make sure that she's positioned, and then there. So I'm just gonna wait 10 more bars and hit it at 15. All right, and that's 19, 18, 17. So I'm gonna switch to Krauss now. As soon as we go to 16, down. All right, so I'm gonna turn it on, go back to Lance or Eins, and then move out of the way. And that's how you do it. Right. So you have about 30 seconds or 20 seconds before this actually allows you to, to pick up the loot. Let's see. Okay, so we're not KSing someone else. Okay, we can go back to this screen. But yeah, that's how you do it. One way you could speed up your farming is to go straight to the other boss and help out your dummy, bring down the HP on this boss. So you can leave that loot there while it's cooling down and start working on this one. You don't have to wait for it, wait for the loot, because one thing you have to be when you're doing these Regalia farming is you have to be quick about it. Oops. Right, I'm still hanging around. I want to get out of the way, get myself out of the loot table here on Eins's screen. Make sure that there, so I'm now out of the way. I can go back to Krauss, move back into the area of influence, go back to Eins's screen and wait for this to be around 10 or 15. I think 10 or 12 might be a good number to start hitting it. All right, let's go hit, go back to Eins, and then roll out of the way. So loot I ended up getting the loot priority for that boss, and Krauss is gonna be able to loot the boss because she was able to get a hit inside before it died. It's just that simple. You only have to hit the boss. It doesn't have to be a strong hit. It can be a normal hit, and and you're all set, just as long as you don't get the loot priority. So I'm now back here getting the loot from the Dark Hunter. Right, so you're getting the drift. So I can go back to the Icy Empress. I'll switch back to Eins. So here's another way. So I'm showing this in full screen, which is not how I usually do it. The way I do it, just so that I know what's going on better on both screens, is I do it side by side. It's a little smaller, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So this is how I normally do it. That way, I know if someone's messing with my dummy, or if I'm hitting someone by mistake, things like that. I have better control, and I don't have to alt tab between the two screens. The only reason I did the alt tab was for the video. But let's see. So normally I would go on to my dummies window, and then I go to this window right here where my mouse is acting up, and then I'll make sure that auto is turned off before I go near, and then put a couple of normal hits inside. The easier the boss, the more careful you have to be. That's one thing for sure. So since we started with Dark Hunter, the boss's levels just become easier as you go down the list. So Dark Hunter, the Icy Empress, and then all the way down to Hammer. You can also do this, of course, if you have two phones. You can use your sister's phone, your brother's phone, your ex's phone, whatever. Um, and that also is a nice way to get around this if you don't have a strong PC. You also can use one phone and use an app called Clone App that allows you to launch two different instances of Gaia Odyssey or any other game that you can do that you benefit with multi accounts. And the only drawback from using Clone App is it's super tiny. It's just it's so tiny that sometimes you don't even see other people on the screen, because what it does is it divides your screen into two. So if your phone is like small, like a Nokia 3310, imagine how small. I'm just kidding. If it's like one of those smaller Samsung models, then it's gonna be really hard to see if someone's trying to message you, or if someone else is on the screen, or if someone's in that spot and you're KSing someone. So be super careful when you use Clone App. So there you go. So if you didn't notice what happened, my mouse quickly activated auto here and then went back here to dodge out of the way. So I know you'll know you did it right if you're able to loot. If you did it, oops, that's one. See how it suddenly tried to pick up stuff? Let's get out of the map since I'm at 0. If you did not do it right, it would say not your loot, try again later. If that's the case, then you did it wrong. Your main account wasn't able to get a hit in, and the loot priority is with Eins and only Eins, or only your dummy. So go back in, loot, count your losses, loot the stuff with your dummy, and then try again. But yeah, I think I covered everything, except for the fact that, okay, so why do people do this? The Regalia system, or the God system, is the most lucrative way of increasing your stats. And people have asked me, hit, evasion, how do you increase it? How do you boost it up to, godlike levels? And this is not godlike levels at all. I'm at 3 million. But most other people have it 3 million, 6 million, and the reason why their stats are boosted that high is because not only do they have all the flat stats from the different systems, like the artifacts, the Drassels, the shield, they have the modifier, the percentage modifier that comes from farming the regalias in the Divine Ruins. So the percentage modifiers that you want on your regalias, or your god regalias, are the plus the evasion buff and the hit buff stats. So this is what you want. You don't want I think I have a trash one here. You don't want a god attack stat on it. If you get a god attack stat, it doesn't matter if it's red or yellow. The only reason I kept this is because I really don't have an extra Reaper. So if I take this off and replace it with anything else, I lose access to one of my main gods. But if it's on any other regalia that is not necessary, like a Reaper, if you get god HP, god attack, god defense, replace it as soon as you get an evasion or hit, like this one. And then that's how you would do it. Just distribute those. Crit is nice in the mid to end game, but if you're starting out and you want to perform your character to perform above their pay grade, then you want to focus on hit and evasion. So if you do this on all of your gods, then your hit bonus can somehow, let's say for example, this is 60%, so and half of that goes to evasion, half of it goes to hit, like 10% here, 10% here, 10% here. So if you have 3 gods, that would be like almost a 90% bonus across all 3 gods, right, for hit and evasion, if you balance it out. So instead of gaining, let's say 2,000 hit, you're actually gonna gain 4,000 hit. And the higher that bonus goes, that you're able to bring it up, the higher your flat stats are gonna be boosted by it. So yeah, for example, hit 16.8. So that's like a huge that's a huge jump or a huge boost, and it grows, it scales. The higher you know, the next time that you get a bonus to your flat stats, like you get a better artifact, for example, then the more that it will add to your flat stats and scale upwards. So this is why so here's like an example. See how that says 12,795 evasion, and my stats is at so let's say 17,302, right? 3,117,302. So if that's 17,302 and I add this, it's supposed to be at around 30,000, right? Because 17,300 is plus 12,700 is 30,000. So if I go and equip this and I inspect my stats, it's actually closer to or it goes above 30,000. Let's take it up again. So let's try that. Math. Okay. What am I gonna do? So I'm gonna take the artifact off, right? All right, so I'm just gonna put something there. So that is 3,117,302. Right? 3,117,302. Now, if I equip that, and inspect the stats again, it became 3,229,802. And if we bring up our calculator, and if you do the math, it added 112,500 evasion. Why is that? Even though the artifact is only supposed to add 12,000. That's like 4 times or 5 times, almost 5 times the amount of is it though? Let's see, divided by 12,795. 8 times. It's actually closer to 9 times, almost 9 times the indicated amount here. And that's because if I go about my regalias and add all my evasion bonus, oops, my evasion bonuses here, I'm most likely gonna come up with where is it though? Right. If I add all the evasion buff stats across all my regalias, across all my gods, chances are it's going to be at closer to like around 800%. And that's how you boost your evasion. It's absolutely crucial. There's no other way around it. And it's free to play friendly. You don't have to pay anything to create a dummy. You don't have to pay anything to farm the Divine Ruins. You just need your main character, and you'll be able to, to rake up a lot of your red regalias. Those drop from any of the levels. So even floor 1 will drop a red regalia every now and then. And it's up to you to filter out and make sure that you're getting those regalias with bonus to evasion or hit. All right, so I hope that proves a point. Have a great Thursday. I hope you haven't started doing your daily quests or tasks because today's Thursday, and come midnight, uh, the weekly gala event will kick off. So hold off on doing stuff like this until 12 midnight if you are able to, and get an extra set of points. Cheers.